Hi, I'm Carlin Borisenko. In early 2020, I was the knitting Democrat who accidentally went viral on the internet for going to a Trump rally and then left the party. I became the conservative darling, was on all the shows, traveled around the country, and then realized that conservatives were no better than Democrats. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that both political tribes are two sides of the same coin. But it wasn't all bad. On my journey, I became obsessed with understanding the woke ideology and the culture war. I broke the story of the city of Seattle doing segregated training with its employees.
How bad has this stuff become? The city of Seattle has now put out, I'm not kidding you, this is according to Dr. Carolyn Borisenko, who's an organizational psychologist. The city of Seattle asked its white employees to voluntarily spend a day off in a training about their internalized racial superiority.
I broke the story that led to the first ever federal lawsuit against critical race theory in the schools. I broke the Coke Be Less White story, one of the biggest anti-woke stories of all time. It got over 30 million views. Coca-Cola's corporate headquarters even had to change their outgoing voicemail.
Throughout the past few days, you may have seen inaccurate reporting on the content of our recently launched diversity, equity, and inclusion training program.
I exposed the schools in Burlington, Vermont for grooming middle school children live on the internet. They called me an unwoke cult leader for that. And the Vermont Human Rights Commission slandered me publicly as being a hate channel. I even got called a hero in Breitbart for exposing that the Washington Post was writing a hit piece on Christopher Rufo. I have broken story after story after story about what's going on in the public schools, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, to autistic sex education, to the Department of Education in Michigan, literally training teachers all over the state how to groom children. I wrote a book called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. I host a podcast all about fighting back, and I'm downloading all of my knowledge to you on my Substack, carlin.substack.com. The world is a crazy place. We are literally surrounded by cults on all sides. On this show, we're going to do a deep dive into all aspects of the culture war, and I will show you the dark, dystopian underbellies on both sides. Here are the commitments I'll make to you. I will always tell you the truth. I will always bring you receipts. And if you stick with me, I promise you will see the world differently. Welcome to the cult. Please mount that like button for me and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Well, hey guys, welcome to a late night stream. You know, I was sitting here doing some work and I was going to write, and I am still going to write this. I was actually going to write what we're going to talk about on this stream into an article on my Substack. And I'm still going to write that article because some people like to read things rather than watching on video, but I need to rant a little bit. Do you guys mind if I rant tonight on late night stream? Because the conservative right is so goddamn deluded that they really can't see what is going on around them. And, you know, because I have made putting the conservative right in their place and telling them the things they need to know into an art form, we're going to do a little bit of that tonight. Because it is you know, I understand I have like an advantage, right? Like, I'm an organizational psychologist. I literally learned how to analyze the psychology of massive social systems and then turned it into a business where I did it for a living. So I understand that I have some advantage based purely on my training of how to read situations that other people might not have. And that's not to say that they're bad people. It's not to say they're not smart. It's not to say any of those things. It's just, this is a very specific and quite frankly, weird skill that I have. And I'm really good at it. And I'm also really intuitive. And so that layer on those things. And this is how I can do things like predict the results of the midterm elections 6 months before they happen, when no one else on the internet was able to predict them except maybe like 3 other people. It was like 3 other people and me in 2022 that predicted the results of the midterm elections 6 months before they effing happened. And that's because of the organizational psychology, and that's because of the intuitiveness on top of it. I get it. It's a weird niche skill set that, like, in most circumstances isn't really that useful, but in circumstances like this it actually is. And for some reason I can see what so many people on the conservative right are just and I want to talk about that a little bit. All right. So Donald Trump has been indicted again. Again. Like, duh. And I was working tonight updating my t-shirt because, of course, you guys know I have the one, the only, the original Trump Indictment Victory Tour t-shirt on my website, which is unwokeart.com. I created this t-shirt after the January 6th indictments, and it is based on a concert tour t-shirt that you would get at like a show or something, where it's got like a cool Trump design on the front, and then on the back it has a list of every single indictment that they brought against Donald Trump. Here, I'll show you this. It's a little bit easier to read on this one. There you go. That's what it looks like. And so I had to update my t-shirt with the new Georgia indictments because, of course, I'm going to, I don't grift often, but I think this is a really cool ass t-shirt. And so I'm going to, if I'm putting a cool product out there that I think people actually like, and I know they do because a lot of people have sent me pictures of themselves wearing it. Like I'm going to take opportunity to grift when I can, man. I'm not going to be shy about it. Also, I just think it's a cool shirt. All right. I love the idea of like it being a concert t-shirt. Okay. Like that was a kid that went to all sorts of shows and stuff. So it's nostalgic. Anyway. So I was updating my shirt tonight, and you can get that shirt at unwokeart.com, link pinned to the top of the chat, all that stuff. And so I was thinking about this indictment while I was updating the shirt, right? And there are several things that the conservative right does not understand in this scenario. Number one, they're all screaming about the fact that the left wants civil war, civil war, civil war. They don't know what they got coming to them. They don't know. They don't understand. We have all the guns. They're doing all this posturing. But a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, the left wants to destabilize the system. That's like one of their number one goals. So saying that the left wants civil war as though the left might consider that to be some sort of threat, the left wants you morons to be talking about civil war. And even more than that, it's not just that the left wants you talking about civil war and threatening civil war. The left actually wants the goddamn civil war. They want it. Here is the dynamic that exists between the conservative right and the woke left. The woke left is strategic. They are proactive. They have a vision. They have been trying to execute on that vision for damn near 100 years now, folks. They did their long march through the institutions. They took over everything bit by bit, inch by inch. They didn't do it in a decade. They didn't do it in 2 decades. They've been working at this for over 100, well, probably more than 100 years, but at least 100 years at this point in the United States. The left, you guys might think that they're mentally ill, but the fact of the matter is that people who are mentally ill don't execute a strategic long-term vision over the course of literally generations. You might disagree with their values, but to say that they are mentally ill completely dismisses them, which is why they continue winning and winning and winning over and over and over and over again, because you guys look at them going, you're mentally ill, libtard, libtard, libtard. Well, they're kicking your asses every single day. So the left is not mentally ill. The left has a vision, and the left has a very specific set of values that differ from your values. Okay? They work every single day to achieve their vision. They publish thousands of books every single year about their vision. They teach hundreds, if not thousands, of conferences every single year to organize around their vision. They are going out into communities to organize and to gain more power and to gain more support, while conservatives are off at some Republican meeting where they're only talking to and hanging out with each other. The left works at this every single day of their lives, and that is why they win. Now, what are the 4 goals of the woke left that I keep drilling into people over and over and over and over and over again? They want to gain as much power as possible, destabilize the system, attack capitalism, usher in their Marxist utopia. What is the playbook that the woke left uses primarily? This is not to say it's their only playbook, because it's not their only playbook, but primarily they're going to reference Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. If you have not yet read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, then you need to read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. One of the rules for radicals that the woke left uses all the time to catch the right with their pants down again is their entire goal is to get the right to react. The goal is to make you react. The left does something crazy. The right reacts to that thing because the right is not proactive. The right does not have a vision. The right does not proactively put their stuff out there. The right truly and sincerely relies on the fact that they are not the left is going to win them elections. They really think that if they just sit back and wait for the left to do something, and then they go, ha ha, you did a thing. That's really crazy. Look, the left is crazy. The left is crazy. Vote for us. The left is crazy. They really think that that's all that's required to win. The GOP has not updated their party platform since like Mitt Romney was running for president. They don't have a vision. They're not strategic. They're just reactionary. So you got the woke left who are completely strategic in every single thing that they're doing. They do something crazy and they know it's crazy. And the crazy part is the point. The crazy is the point. The chaos they cause is a feature, it's not a bug, because the 4 goals of the woke left are always and forever the same. Gain as much power as possible, destabilize the system, attack capitalism, usher in their Marxist utopia. Every single thing the woke left does is to achieve one or more of those goals. Every single time Tim Pool is like, I just don't know why the left is so crazy. I just don't know why the left always supports chaos. I just don't know why they do all this crazy stuff. It's because the chaos and the destabilization is the goal. It is a feature. It is not a bug. So why would they destabilize the system? Let's think about that for people who are new to me, because conceivably there may be some here. Once you gain as much power as possible, which the woke left has already done, gaining power is about getting yourself into positions where you can influence things either through legitimate power, you're elected to something, you get appointed to something, you get a job, you're a CEO, something like that, or through illegitimate power, which is the soft power of influence. It doesn't really matter because the woke left has it all in spades. They own every major institution in this country, so we can just check gaining power off of the list because they've already achieved that goal. Since the woke left has already achieved that goal, they need to move on to the next goal, which is to destabilize the system. What does it mean to destabilize the system? You cause problems. You cause problems. William, stick around. We're going to get to that. That's part 2 of this. I gotcha. I gotcha. So, the entire goal that the woke left has now, because they've already gained power, they already control everything, is now they're going to use that power to destabilize the system. The Fulton County DA in Georgia is in a position of power through being elected or appointed. I don't know how they do DAs in Georgia. We'll say elected. She got elected to that position, which means she has power. Now she's going to use that power to destabilize the system, i.e., indict Donald Trump, because that is one of the key lightning rod things that you can do to destabilize the system. What do you mean, destabilize the system? It just means causing problems. It means causing people pain. It means taking societal norms that have existed for hundreds of years and throwing a giant ass wrench into them so that it causes chaos and things get out of whack. Then people in the general public experience pain as a result of that chaos. What happens when people in the general public experience pain as a result of the destabilization that the woke left is purposefully doing to the system every single day? The woke left then comes in and says, you know what the cause of that pain is? It's capitalism. It's systemic racism, which means capitalism. It's fascism. In this case, they're going to say fascism. We now know that fascism is literally defined by the woke left as free market capitalism, because we heard an economics professor at Hofstra University define it as free market capitalism just the other day. The clip is on my YouTube channel. So, the left in some way is going to blame capitalism for the destabilization of the system that they themselves have caused. They're going to say, you know what's causing you all this pain? Capitalism. Capitalism is the root cause of all our problems. It's why you just can't get ahead. It's why everything is so hard. Wouldn't it be better if we tried a different system? And then once they get enough of the general public riled up because they cause them pain after pain after pain after pain after pain after pain after pain, and they blamed capitalism for everything, and they use different code words for capitalism. They use whiteness as a code word for capitalism, systemic racism is a code word for capitalism, colonialization is a code word for capitalism, fascism is a code word for capitalism, anti-racism is a code word for capitalism. Basically every key buzzword the woke left has is a code word for capitalism. I've covered this and proven this and shown you video clips of this in other areas. The point is that once they get the public pissed off at capitalism, then they go, why don't we try Marxism? Real Marxism has never been tried. Real socialism has never been tried. Socialism will make sure you have free healthcare and your college will be taken care of, and you won't ever have to get a job because everyone's going to have a universal basic income, except you're going to be assigned to help out in the field and cook the food sometimes, and if you don't cook or do your job, you don't eat or stuff like that. But I promise you, Marxism is going to be so much better. All your needs are going to get taken care of, etc., etc., etc. And I'll tell you what, when people are in pain, all of a sudden socialism sounds like a really good idea. So they're going to be much more open to it. So, what the left is doing right now with the indictment of Donald Trump is they are trying to get the right to react to them by saying civil war, civil war, civil war, civil war, civil war, so that they can then go, look, the right doesn't care about democracy. And they're really going to try to get the right riled up, because it's not just that they want the right screaming about civil war, it's that they actually want civil war. Why would the left want civil war? Number one, they're going to win. And we'll talk about that in a second. But number two, it would destabilize the system. Everything they do right now is to destabilize the system. Everything they're doing is to cause problems. I just don't know why people can't see this. I don't know why someone like Tim Pool is going, I just don't understand why the left always veers towards chaos. It just makes no sense. It, like, you know what doesn't make any sense? How people who have been watching this system and this process play out for years and years and years and years and years and years can't see what's going on. The left is constantly causing problems. The right is constantly reacting to those problems. The left then takes the right's reaction and they use it against the right to cause even more problems and more destabilization, because destabilization is a feature. It is not a bug. It is what they want. It's what they want. Because they cannot get their Marxist revolution if the system is not destabilized. You cannot change the economic system of a country which is their only goal. They don't care about white people. It's not about skin color. It's not about eradicating men. It's not about eradicating women. They want to have a Marxist revolution and change the economic system on which this country runs. There's cultural Marxist pieces thrown in there as well, but really everything they do around race is an attack on capitalism. And we aren't even going to touch on the gender stuff today. The gender stuff is a different thing, but the gender stuff is directly tied to destabilizing the system. Getting rid of gender, abolishing gender, doing all the gender stuff is designed to destabilize the system. Everything they're doing is for those goals. Whenever you play into this and you start screaming, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War, they're going to look at you and they're going to go, good. You're doing what they want you to do. Stop giving them wins. Because I'll tell you what, too, the right is not fighting a civil war. This is not going to happen. This is completely unrealistic. And I have several reasons for saying this. Number one, I spent the entire year, maybe not, okay, I apologize, not the entire year. I spent 6 straight months in 2020 when Trump was running for office the last time, touring around the country, doing rallies, trying to get MAGA people, these dedicated diehard Trump cultists that I keep hearing so much about, to come out to rallies. Do you know what happened? No one ever showed up because these people are afraid to leave their houses wearing a goddamn red hat. They're not guys, like, listen, you can make every excuse you want for why you don't want to leave your house wearing a MAGA hat. But ultimately, leaving your house wearing a MAGA hat is a lot effing easier than leaving your house with a gun to go fight a civil war. If you cannot leave your house wearing a MAGA hat, then you are not going to be leaving your house carrying a gun to go fight a civil war. That is completely unrealistic. Another reason why this is not going to happen. The right can say, we have all the guns, we have all the guns, we have all the guns. Bro, like 6 months ago on Socialism Saturday, we watched a presentation from real Antifa activists, the people who are actually wearing the masks and doing the black bloc thing. There's a presentation on YouTube. You can go back and find it. It's a Socialism Saturday presentation in which Antifa was talking directly about arming themselves and doing training. Antifa is armed. They train more than the conservative right do. They do this every single day of the week. They have strategies, they have classes, they have all this stuff. And guess what? That's not the only place where I've heard about Antifa being armed. There was a Let Women Speak rally in Austin, Texas, in which Antifa, not the right, Antifa was carrying AR-15s because they are now armed. They're not just throwing fireworks at buildings anymore, guys. They're talking about this on the internet. All you have to do is listen to them. So don't tell me we're the only ones with the guns. We're the ones with the guns. We're the ones with the guns. Who do you think is more likely to actually use those guns? The conservative right who talk a big game all day, every day, and then never actually show up? Or Antifa, who have shown us repeatedly that they will do some of the craziest shit in the world and they don't give an F because they know they're never going to be punished anyway. I'm going to give you another reason why there's not going to be a civil war. I was at January 6th. I was at the Capitol that day, and I made it my business to take a good look around to see what was going on. And let me tell you what was going on. You want to say, because this is one of the things I've heard tonight. Well, Carly, what about January 6th? They just pushed the right too far. January 6th, they just pushed the right too far, and we showed them on January 6th. Did you? Did you really? Because again, I was there, and there was probably 100,000 people on the Capitol lawn that day. And do you know what most of those people on the Capitol lawn that day were doing? They were sitting their asses on the lawn watching. That's reality. The vast majority of the people who were at the Capitol on January 6th were not going in the building. They weren't getting anywhere close to the building. They were quite literally sitting on the lawn, having goddamn picnics, and watching tear gas be shot at people in the distance. I'm not actually making that up. Okay, maybe not many people were having picnics, but they were all sitting on the lawn saying, literally, when I got to the Capitol that day, I was on the lawn. I was like, what the holy hell is going on? And there were people there that were just just like standing on the Capitol lawn watching it, like, oh look, they're tear gassing people, as though it was like a spectacle that people were like, what the hell? We're just gonna sit here and watch. But like, you think they're going to engage in a civil war when they're sitting at their asses on the lawn and watching? That's not going to happen. The thing about the right is, I do think the right would use guns to defend their families. If like their specific family member was in trouble, I absolutely believe they would use their guns. But if it's not about their specific family, what they're going to do is they're going to talk a big game and they go to 1776 and they're going to beat their chests, but they're not actually going to do anything about it because it is not directly impacting them. The conservative right is fucking lazy. And not only are they lazy, but they expect everyone else to do work for them that they themselves are not doing. So I have no doubt that they'd all beat their chest, be like, oh, we're going to civil war, civil war, civil war. And then when it actually push actually comes to shove, and it's your turn to grab your gun and to go join your militia and go to war, you ain't doing shit. Maybe onesies and twosies. Maybe here and there someone would do something stupid. And I absolutely believe someone's going to do something stupid because the right doesn't know how to do anything other than react in stupid ways to the woke left. But maybe onesies and twosies, but not enough to fight a civil war. Does the conservative right not understand? The Civil War is not just like one battle, it's not like one afternoon. It's a series of battles over the course of months or years. And you're telling me, like, let's go back to January 6th, because I'll tell you another thing that happened on January 6th. When I got back to the hotel that night, and I am the most consistent bitch talking about January 6th anywhere on the internet that was actually there. Because I said on January 6th, I thought it was great, and I liked seeing Trump supporters finally stand up and do something about being pushed around for so long. And I have maintained that position ever since. I thought January 6th was great. I didn't think it went far enough, and I say that having not broken any laws and having not gone in the building at all. But I'm not going to shit talk the people who were there because it was not an insurrection. That's not what it was. It was a bunch of people who have been pushed around for a really long time who finally found their voice and spoke up. That was what January 6th was about. Were mistakes made? Yeah, sure. But that was what January 6th was primarily about, was people finding their voice and speaking up. Do you know what the entire conservative establishment did to the people who were there on January 6th? That night, they started throwing them under the bus immediately. The entire conservative media establishment started throwing the people who were at the Capitol on January 6th under the bus immediately, and they still have not stopped since January 6th. And if you were going on any shows, as I did back then, and you were saying, you know what, I thought it was great, and people finding their voice was a good thing, and there were some really lovely parts about it. If you were going on shows saying that, you were shunned and ostracized, and they were like, no, no, no. They were like clutching their pearls the entire time. You think the conservative right is going to civil war when their entire establishment, their entire party apparatus, all of their elites, all of their influencers, none of them actually support them, none of them even like them, and you think they're supporting you in a civil war? Have you lost your fucking minds? I don't know why people don't think this through. Like, I understand beating your chest and going 1776, 1776, 1776 is like your most favorite thing to do, conservatives, but like, you sometimes need to think through the logical conclusions of what you're doing because it doesn't add up. Not only are you giving the left what they want when you're screaming about civil war, not only does the left actually want a real civil war, and by the way, they're probably going to do some false flag thing if you don't give it to them. So, like, I don't know why you're playing into this. Like, it's gonna happen anyway. Like, let them at least do, like, some sort of false flag thing. Don't actually give them what they want. They want the destabilization. They want the chaos. That is the goal. I don't know what is so hard about this. Why are people running around going civil war, civil war, civil war, civil war, civil war? You are giving the left the reaction that they are desperate for, and this is why you lose over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because you don't have a strategic plan, you don't have a vision, you don't even know what you stand for other than we're not the left. And here we go again. And they're going to use every single thing you say and every single thing you do against you to prove that you are the traitors and the terrorists and the fascists that they always said you were. Stop giving them what they want. They want you to react. That is the entire point. If the legal system works out the way that you guys are convinced that it would, then Trump actually doesn't have anything to worry about because everyone knows that these charges are bullshit. Everyone with a working brain knows these charges are bullshit. And all of this is to bankrupt Trump so that he can't become president. That's all it is. They're trying to bankrupt him by putting him in lawsuit after lawsuit, after felony, after this, after that, after the other thing. They're trying to bankrupt him. So you know what the best thing that all of you can do, if you actually care about him winning, is to get off your asses and go out and actually campaign. Go out and start registering voters. Please, for the love of God, stop doxing each other. Did you guys know today on Twitter, like Trump supporters were doxing a DeSantis influencer? Doxed the guy, called his office, made this big stink, all because this DeSantis influencer told Trump supporters they're full of shit, which, by the way, Trump supporters, oftentimes you are actually full of shit. And this DeSantis influencer on Twitter was like, basically, you guys are full of shit. I don't know why you still support Trump. Trump supporters effing doxed him. They made big threads doxing this guy, calling this guy's place of work, trying to get him out of his job, all because he told Trump supporters they were full of shit. So Trump supporters could be going out and registering voters. They could be going out and having events and writing books and doing presentations and having get-togethers where they're reaching out to people in communities, doing exactly what you all, like, literally, conservatives, all you need to do is follow exactly what the woke left does and do exactly the same thing for your people. That's all you need to do. But what are you doing instead? You're spending time doxing each other. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is why, conservatives, you lose people like me. And there aren't many people like me that still care enough to actually inform you of what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. There aren't many people like me that take the time because most of us have written you off completely. But for some reason, even though I am not voting for Trump in any way, the only Republican candidate I would even consider voting for is Vivek. I am not voting for Trump. But even though I am not voting for your guy, and even though I am not on your team because I left 2.5 effing years ago and you guys have not stopped fucking with my life since, there is still something in me that says, you know what? The right may be misguided, but they're probably better than a Marxist fucking cultural revolution. And so I'll still give you advice on how not to play in and give the left their Marxist fucking cultural revolution. But you guys need to start fucking listening. The reason you lost voters like me is because of the ongoing bullshit in which you have no vision, you have no plan, you have no strategy, you shit on people all the time, you dox people on your own fucking team when they say things you don't like that hurt your fragile sensibilities. You don't do anything to actually earn votes and earn support. And that is why you keep bleeding it. And you guys think that Trump is just going to fix everything and all these charges is going to make sure Trump wins, and every single time that Trump gets a new indictment, that's just more proof to you that he's going to win. Trump is not going to fucking win in 2024, guys. Like, he's not. He's absolutely not. Because they're going to keep piling thing on him after thing after thing after thing after thing. They're probably going to end up bankrupting him. I know you guys don't want to hear this. Listen, I literally put Trump on a t-shirt, okay? I appreciate Trump. I really do. Trump is fucking hilarious. There is nothing that I'm going to enjoy more, and we're going to do many streams about Trump. Every single Trump event, like if he's doing well, he's not going to do the debates probably, but like if Trump were doing the debates, I would stream every single one of those debates. If Trump did a town hall like on CNN or something, oh my God, that's glorious. Trump is fucking hilarious. I have a deep appreciation for Trump, and I tell you this because Trump is not going to win in 2024. They are going to throw every single thing at you, and the very best thing that you can do is to nominate Vivek, which you won't do because it's the smartest thing in the world you could ever do. Vivek Ramaswamy is the only GOP candidate that can actually win in 2024. I don't know why you guys can't see this. The system is going to do every single thing that it can to make sure that Donald Trump does not become president again. And there ain't really nothing that you guys can do to stop it because you let the left gain too much power. And now you have to do stuff to bring it back. And if you are not willing to do what's required to bring it back, which means getting your asses off your couch and going into your community and actually talking to people and not waiting for someone else to do it for you, it means reaching out to people like me who you have been shitting on for 2.5 years and saying, you know what? Maybe we treated you pretty shitty. Maybe we shouldn't cut clips of you out of context and put them all around the internet. Maybe mistakes were made. Maybe we can like that's what you actually should be doing. You should be reaching out to independents and disaffected lefties and trying whatever the fuck you need to do to get us on your side. You need to stop the gay hating bullshit. You need to stop the racist bullshit because all you're doing with the gay hating bullshit and the trans hating bullshit and the racist bullshit is you're reacting to what the woke left is doing. You're giving them the reaction that they want because every time you guys react to a drag queen story hour or a new gender thing or whatever the fuck, you play into the woke left's hands and they get more voters as a result. So if you really want to do something important, get off your couch and start talking to people and start doing real things in the real world and stop shitting on people who you should damn well be wooing for their votes. That is the most important thing that you can do right now, not going out there and saying, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War. Because guess what? Independents, disaffected lefties, they don't actually want civil war, and you're going to lose anyway. So you're not going to win any of them over by saying civil war, civil war, civil war. You're going to win no votes by doing that. And you're giving the far left exactly what they want in the goddamn first place. I don't know why this is so hard. I don't get it. Anyway, that's all I really had to say. Does anyone have any questions or any thoughts in the chat before I wrap up and go write the article that says exactly the same thing, but maybe with less rant? I'll hang out here for a second, see if you guys have questions or comments in the chat. Mama Tembo says, we have a saying in our house, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and we have a lot of stupid in this country as per design. Yes. There is a lot of stupid. There is a lot of stupid indeed. Oh, Beth, thank you for the super chat. I'm not sure they'll let Vivek win because he clearly has a vision and doesn't support the swamp. Question. What do you think are the chances there's actually even going to be an election in 2024? I hope you feel better. I feel just fine, Beth. Thank you for that comment. There'll be an election. There'll actually absolutely be an election. There's no way around not like there will 100% be an election because the left knows they're going to win is a thing. And the left is going to try to maintain the pretense of like we're the ones who care about democracy. We're the only ones who care about democracy. So of course they have to have an election. Of course they do. Now they're going to do everything they can to fortify it. But there's going to be an election. Will it be real? I mean, who the hell knows, but you know, but like, here's the thing, conservatives. Here's another thing you could do. Scott Pressler's trying to do this ballot harvesting initiative. Why aren't all you out there trying to help Scott Pressler with his ballot harvesting initiative? Like, you want to talk about like what the so-called cheating the left did in 2020? It was using legal strategies. They planned, they strategized, they went for every single vote they can get. They ballot harvested up and down. They used legal strategies to win, guys. Why aren't you doing the same? Let's see, just scrolling through the chat. Yeah. That's really all I have to say, guys. I don't want to be on too late tonight because I do want to write up that article for my Substack, which is carlinbing.substack.com. Go subscribe. It'll be up when it's up. Thank you guys for spending some time with me this evening. Please mouth the like button on the way out the door. I will be live at 5 p.m. tonight or tomorrow. Yes, today, tomorrow. It's 1 a.m. So I guess I'll be live at 5 p.m. today on the 15th. Rottweiler super chat. The left has the upper hand because it has the cohesion the right lacks. The right is more busy criticizing Snow White rather than actually addressing Marxism and burning bridges. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Infinitely stupid. Thank you, Rottweiler, for the super chat. Guys, I'm going to head out. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.